Hello, 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 and welcome back to our 8-day series of my journey of being a director of nursing for the last 8 years in the same building. So, if you do not know me, I am Michelle Carter. I am the owner of MCB Nurse Consultant, and I'm the founder of the DON Success Network, which is a membership for directors of nurses where you're able to be able to grow spiritually, financially, emotionally, professionally, and also personally. And we help you to become the CEO of your nursing department. And it's a space where we know your name. It's a small, intimate membership where everybody knows their name and we're able to connect with you on a deeper level. I am also a director of nursing for 18 years. And I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a grandmother. I've been a nurse for 25 years, and I've been in long-term care. I started off in long-term care 32 years ago as a CNA, and just continue to my education and development in long-term care nursing. But today, I want to talk to you about my journey of being a director of nursing in the same facility community. I use words as community because I work at a person-centered organization for the last 8 years. And if you've been following us, this is day 5, and we're at my 5-year mark. I started in 2017. We talked about what happened in 17, 18, 19. Yesterday, we talked about 2020 as the world changed for all of us. 2020 was a very emotional year for all of us. It was an emotional year for me. I lost my mother during COVID. My granddaughter came to live with me during COVID. I'm still dealing with taking care of COVID patients, taking care of my team. Now we're into 2021. And what happened in 21 in long-term care? What happened in 21 for me as a director of nursing? Well, the vaccine came out in early 2021, and we were mandated to take it. I was on a fence. I'm going to be honest. Ideally, I do believe in vaccines. I do believe in vaccines, but I do believe people have a choice. And I kind of looked at where I stood at. Well, I didn't want to start my career over and do anything different than being a nurse because I love being a nurse. And I'm too young to retire. So I had to go with the flow, and I got our vaccine. I did get the vaccine, but getting permission from the residents and with the team, that was a struggle because we had a lot of team members who didn't want the vaccine, making sure we had the medical or religious exemptions, tracking agency people during that time. And mind you, in 2020 and 21, most of our long-term care facilities were flooded with agency employees. Ideally, agency employees, there's some great nurses and CNAs that work agency. And there's some who don't care. I'm going to be very transparent. I've been the director of nursing that I try to keep that consistency. So if I find somebody good from the agency and I have to continue to use agency employees, I'm going to try to use that particular person, a particular group of people, just to keep that continuing care for our residents. So we were dealing with agency cost, agency making sure if they had the vaccine, they had the exemption on top of everything else. But the world started slowly but surely opening up just a little bit in 2021. I did get a chance to travel a little bit, but one of the greatest things that happened in 2021, my oldest daughter had twins. So I am a grandmother of twins. I already had an older granddaughter who was 15 at the time. She turned 15, and then she had a little sister and brother that were born on August 8th, 2020. I'm sorry, August 9th, 2028. I hope it's August 9th, 2021. And that was just the joy of my life. And unfortunately, I could not be there for the birth because I got COVID. I did get COVID in 2021. And to me, it seemed like I was getting COVID like every 2 years. I had it in 19 when we didn't know it was COVID. Then I got it in 21. And as you hear on, there's another time I got it again. So, but the team was really starting to not heal, but starting to starting to feel a little bit at ease. Again, like I said, when I started in 2017 and 18 and 19, I didn't feel like I was getting my confidence in. I wasn't always the I didn't feel accepted for a while because we did have a tragic accident happen in my first year. And we talked about that in the first day that I ended up getting a harm tag from it. But in 2020, I started feeling like this is my building. I have to protect my building. I have to protect my people, my team members. And as we gravitate to 2021, I still had that sense of ownership. I graduated. I finished my master's degree in 2021 also. Did not have a graduation because of COVID, obviously. But we'll talk about that in the next couple of days. But we did, the birth of my grandkids was the best thing in 21. Still being able to retain some staff. We were starting to retain some staff, still using the agency. We had some staff start looking to come back. Our surveys weren't too bad. Well, matter of fact, we had no survey in 2021. Matter of fact, we had a survey in 2020, right before the shutdown, and we didn't have any survey in 21. And then we'll talk about what was the next survey was in 22. But 2021, the vaccine came out. We got the vaccine, still testing. I believe that was 21 when we started doing the rapid test. And the government was sending us tests left and right. We still did tests and still had to do outbreaking. And each state had their own, I'm not going to say their own regulations, but we had here in Pennsylvania was the Pennsylvania HON. And it was a site we had to go to, whatever changed statewide or national-wide, that we had to keep up with the regulations. So it was opening and people were feeling a little bit more at ease, but we were still dealing with it. We were still dealing with it emotionally, still worrying about getting sick, still worrying about our children and our families and our residents. Families were coming back into the nursing homes. And we were just getting I'm not going to say normalcy, because I don't think we'll ever be back to where we were prior to COVID, mentally or how the world is, but we weren't drowning anymore. I could put it like that. We weren't drowning. The team was connecting. I'm 5 years in. They're my team. They understand me. I understand them. I still had that strong personality and would ask a lot of questions. So I didn't realize about my personality at the time because I wasn't privy to understanding personality science. So I still had to work on that. But we had a good kinship. I was engaged with my team. They respected me. I respected them. And we finally had that engagement. There was a couple people that still wasn't accepting of me. But majority of my team was we were all on board. We was working together as a team. And I think me being consistent and staying with them during COVID helped that also. Me being boots on the ground and picking up the shifts, working, being supportive, be out there testing residents with them, help us grow better as a team. But 21 was not as challenging as 20, but it was still a thing. My mom had been gone for a year. I graduated I got my master's degree. I finished all my classes. And then now I had 2 wonderful grandbabies join me at the end of the year, in August. And it was really, really a good year. And the team was building. I didn't have to deal with surveys, so it made me a little bit nervous though, because I said, okay, they'll be here the following year, and what are they going to find? Because now you have a whole year. And we all spent so much time on COVID, we kind of let other things slip down, and we had to start prioritizing the things that were not COVID related. It was just so ironic that people during that time didn't even understand regular isolation. They had no idea what contact isolation was anymore. We still had organisms we had to deal with that were not airborne that we had to deal with in long-term care. And it was just funny, every time somebody was on isolation and it wasn't COVID related, they thought we were doing something wrong. So yeah, it was a challenge, coming out of 20, but 21 was bright. 21 was more optimistic. We had some good outcomes. Just as growing as a team, still waiting for what's going to happen with survey. And 21 was the first year I started kind of doing my own internal mock surveys. So, and that was the network wanted to do one, but obviously we were planning that in 20. For all our DONs to start working, helping mock surveys, but COVID hit, and then nobody had time to leave the building. So I kind of started doing my own internal mock surveys with my team, built the process together and started doing that. And that's something I happen to teach my DONs. That's something I happen to teach my DONs in our membership. So yeah, that was year 5. And tomorrow we will be talking about year 6. And which will be 6 and 7. We'll be talking about. Well, tomorrow we'll talk about year 6, and then we'll talk about 6 and 7, and we'll talk about year 8 on my actual anniversary date, which is is August 28th, which is coming up this week. That will be my actual anniversary day. So, and the reason I did this is because 8 is such a special number. I just looked at it. It was the 8th month, the 28th day, and was my 8th year. And 8th is a special number. It's a special number spiritually. It's a special because it's infinite. It doesn't close. It's an infinite circle of a continuum. And that's why I felt like infinite. I was continuing to grow, and that's what we want to do. We want to continue to grow. We want to continue to give, continue to be the people, to strive to be who we're destined to be. And that's why 8 was a special number. And I wanted to celebrate that. So come back tomorrow and we will see our day 6. And we'll talk about 2022 and going into 23. And I will see you tomorrow. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm MCB Nurse Consultant. I appreciate you spending this time with me. I appreciate you listening, and hopefully you'll understand that how important it is to feel confident in your role as a director of nursing, to stay consistent. You will see outcomes. It is going to be a struggle. You're going to have bad times, but you can also have great times, and how important it is to connect with your team. So I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to catch us. It will be 6 p.m. Tomorrow we'll be talking about day 6. Have a wonderful day, and stay strong, stay positive, and stay committed, and stay on a journey that God has you on. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.